Recently, I joined the Black Plasma Studios SMP. After getting started, I now have a goal. And that goal is to build a nation. A free nation built on fair and just principles. A nation where everyone on the SMP could come together and enjoy an era of peace. However, there was much work to be done so I could achieve this goal. So join me, my friends, as I chronicle my journey on the Black Plasma SMP. In the last episode, I built my first house. If you can even call it a house, because it really isn't. A bunch of funny stuff happened, but eventually, I managed to get a couple stacks of iron. So, needless to say, I was off to a bit of a good start. So, my plans for building a nation began. I would call it Fecrodor, and started off as a clan, not a nation, because, I'm not that powerful yet. My intention was to ally people who live close by. This alliance would be formed on the basis of mutual trade and assistance. 2 players lived nearby my base, R309 and Dibster Plays, the latter of whom I had already traded with at one point. My sights were set on forming an alliance with these two, and starting the Fecrodor clan. However, it was not the first thing I did. Instead, I decided to go mining for a bit until I finally found my first diamonds. With those diamonds, I crafted a pickaxe and boots. After that, I decided, why not go on a trip to the Nether and see if I could get resources from there? It was a good plan on paper, but didn't work out too well in execution. Thankfully, there was already a community Nether portal at spawn, so I didn't have trouble getting to the Nether. However, it was once I was inside when things began to fall apart. The magma cubes in the Nether were surprisingly strong, and despite my best efforts, I died. But I wasn't giving up just yet. I decided to return to the Nether, and I got my stuff back, and I kept adventuring. This, however, turned out to be a grave mistake, as I would wander far off course. In an attempt to get some loot, I unfortunately died again, and this time, I could not recover my stuff. I had lost my diamond boots, as well as several other valuable items, including a full set of iron armor and a golden apple. This was a major loss, but I wasn't going to let it stop me. Opting to stay away from any solo missions to the Nether for now, I decided I would find some more resources in the overworld. So time went on and I gradually began to get more and more stuff. By this point, I'd collected enough diamonds for a diamond chestplate and some leggings. At this point, I learned that R309, one of my close neighbors, was going on an expedition to the Nether to get some netherite. Knowing that now would be an excellent time to ally him, I decided to offer him help with the expedition. After thinking about it, he agreed. R3 and I traveled to the Nether, and we began our expedition. R3 used beds to blow up large areas, and we found netherite that way. However, R3 did die a couple times on the journey, and I had to recover his loot for him. Eventually, I offered to trigger the beds because, well, I had some better armor, and I was less likely to die. This ended up being the right decision. Anyway, the two of us found 8 netherite, which we split evenly. By the way, when I say netherite, I'm referring to ancient debris. I made a mistake that I can't be bothered to fix, sorry. Anyway, we each had enough for 1 piece of netherite. I upgraded my chestplate, R3 upgraded his pickaxe. The two of us later agreed to ally, and with that began the Fecrodor clan. My next course of action was to convince Dibster to join. His house was situated in between R3's house and my house, so to not have him in the clan would be pretty inconvenient. In addition though, another server member, XDinoX, was also interested in joining the clan, and I figured this would be fine because the more the merrier after all. Plus, Dino had given me my first set of iron armor in the first place, which was also the iron armor I lost in the Nether, so if Dino is watching, I very much apologize. Anyway, my diplomatic efforts seemed to work, and Dibster and Dino were both interested in joining a clan. Fecrodor was growing. One day, I hoped it would advance from a clan to an entire nation. And better yet, when the server becomes public to non-patrons, all of my friends can join and reinforce us. Anyway, I went mining for even more resources, and finally got a complete set of diamond armor, not counting the netherite chestplate. By now, I did figure I was one of the most stacked people on the server, unfortunately, not one of the most skilled by a long shot. Around this point, I decided to design the Fecrodor flag. For those who don't know, I'm Canadian with a bit of Scottish ancestry, so I decided to incorporate those elements into the flag. In the end, I crafted the banner and my shield together, and I became the first official member of the Fecrodor clan. although by practicality, R3 was also in it by now. With Dibster and Dino also set to join, the future looked bright for the Fecrodor clan, and hopefully for the Republic that would rise in its place. However, things were not all well and good. There existed forces on the server which would eventually conflict with my interests. The main issue, the main roadblock, would turn out to be none other than the server owner, Fadeless Banjo, himself. See, Fade and I, we were buddies. We were good friends. We'd made YouTube collabs in the past, and I trusted him. I really did. But then, one day, I logged on to the SMP to find that a book was in my base. My base was protected by a land claim, so only someone with op powers could possibly have put that there. My worst fears were confirmed when I read the book, and saw that it was by Fadeless Banjo. The book explained to me that my base, my land, that I had claimed, rightfully, was now under the occupation of the quote-unquote Fadeless Empire. I mean, what sort of guy would name an empire after himself? Seems a bit egotistical to me. I would totally not do that, trust me. Anyway, I quickly reached out to Fade on Discord to ask what was going on. He responded with a very ominous message. Now, this was bad news. If my land was apparently under the occupation of Fade's empire, I was going to have to do something about it. I was not going to stand for this. My goals, my dream, was being conflicted right in front of my very eyes. He hadn't even talked to me about this. He'd swooped in and claimed my land. I was not happy, but I also wasn't going to give up. I most certainly didn't want to start a fight with Fade or his allies, because that would be disastrous for me. But I was going to have to think of a way to get around this. I was going to have to think of a way to free my clan. And with that, I leave you all on a cliffhanger. Remember, all of this is over-dramatized for the sake of being immersive, so, if you think there's any actual drama between any of these people, you're wrong. Plain and simple. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you want more. See ya!